Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week's guest is Erik Hubbard of Backroads of Appalachia. Erik talks about Eastern Kentucky and how Backroads of Appalachia has helped make a substantial economic impact by bringing motorsports to the region. We also chat about putting rallying to the forefront with government support and, importantly, community support. Well, Mr. Erik, thanks for coming on to the podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is you do for Backroads of Appalachia?
Yeah, Backroads, and if you ever come to Eastern Kentucky, you'll get run off unless you call it Appalachia.
Oh, Appalachia.
You got to go to "ch" at the end. Appalachia has different lingos wherever you go in the Appalachian region, but down in my neck of the woods, it's "ch." Some say Asia and other ways of doing it, but down here the term carpetbagger comes into play if you don't say "ch."
Well, yeah. Well,
here to help you. I'm looking out for you, Mr. Jim Booth.
I grew up in Massachusetts, but I did live in North Carolina, so I really don't have an excuse.
But Backroads of Appalachia was a harebrained ideal that I started probably almost 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a biker by trade, what I used to be anyway. I started Backroads of Appalachia for a couple of reasons. Number one reason was seeing federal money coming into our poverty-stricken area,
mm-hmm.
and nothing getting done with the money. People would take their money and run and build a condo or a lake house,
Ooh.
And number two was, from the downturn of coal, what can we do in motorsports and, motorcycles, and then it led into motorsports and power sports. What can we do to become an economic driver to
mm-hmm.
our region of Eastern Kentucky, which now we've expanded into West Virginia and Ohio.
Oh, okay. What year was that you started?
It was 8 years ago, and we officially became legal as a federal entity, federal nonprofit, state nonprofit 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't have a clue how to do it, when we started it.
Yeah, well, I was looking at your website. It's pretty amazing. All your sponsors, your partners, and you have something like well over 40 trails you have listed. Is that correct?
Well, we have a lot more than that, but we have 45 routes. It's not really trails. It's routes we recommend for the on-highway guy, the street bike guy, or the guy in the sports car or the family
mm-hmm.
To get out and about in low traffic areas and get you tired, thirsty, and hungry, where you'll land in a little community and spend your hard-earned money. That's
Perfect.
what we do. And that's where we started, and then the sanctioning bodies and the racing and the motorsports started to come into play. And,
mm-hmm.
As we grew as an organization, we made the right connections and grew where I could get permits and permission and changing of laws where we can make it more motorsport friendly to bring more opportunities into our region.
And speaking of laws, just recently, Kentucky passed, was it Senate Bill 63?
Yes, sir. It's something I knew it was secret, but I waited to the right time to let it out.
Mm-hmm.
We're a reciprocating state, so other states, even though people were getting pulled over and getting tickets, if they knew the law, they wouldn't have to pay their ticket. From an out of state or on a side by side, if you was on the state highway or national forest land and you get pulled over, you get a ticket for being on that, they're legally allowed to be here. It's a law from 1970. So we done with that other laws from other states is we combined it, but we also made it not a UTV license plate. We called it a special use license plate. And the reason why is, well, Billy down the road can build him a race car. He don't
Awesome.
have a title for it, but Billy can get the car inspected, and if it meets the safety requirement, $25, Billy can go to the county clerk's office for $10 a year and get a special use plate where he can then drive it on highways for up to 20 miles.
Got it. Okay.
Is how the law was written, but it can be further, you know. But that's how that law was established. The real reason behind it for me on an aspect is inside the world I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Carnegie, I know European race cars and all of that. Instead of paying a Carnegie and fighting with the EPA, would it be cheaper to ship your car here? Do it this way, and the money you're saving, rent a garage or buy a piece of property and put your car in it, and maybe hire somebody locally to look out for that property when you're not racing it.
Okay, great.
Yep, and that's what. But the only problem with the law is it has to be in reciprocating states, which is a lot. California's a prime example. They're not a reciprocating state of Kentucky.
Okay.
So there's some loopholes that we still got to figure out, but it's a good start and momentum for motorsports as a whole, but especially rally.
Excellent. Awesome. Yeah, when I first saw some of the announcements and talk about it on social media, I thought, well, I'll take a look at that. That seems to kind of clear up some gray areas for rally cars.
Yep. And I mean, the last thing we want to do, if we're not saying nobody does that, wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want them to take a VIN off of a car in a junkyard in the United States and do it that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's do it. Let's do it the right way. You know. So because ultimately, if you get caught, if you get in an accident on a public highway and that happens, what's going to happen to you if it's smart enough and gets caught? You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of loopholes inside that, but that's really my determination to get that bill passed was that. Also, last year we changed the law in Kentucky where we was able to shut down state highways that have racing events on. And
very nice.
Yeah, so step by step, how do you become a mecca? How do you become motorsport? Why do we love rally? Why do we love hill climb racing? Why do we love time trial stuff? I don't need a racetrack. I got racetracks everywhere.
Right. Oh yeah.
And we can pick our racetracks and support local communities. And you bring in sanctioning bodies and events and opportunities. The only thing we ask in return, first question before you come up with your harebrained ideal, for me, is what are you going to do for the community?
Right.
Are you going to do a festival? Are you going to have the kids sit in your cars? Are you going to support a local Girl Scout club? Whatever it is, what are you going to do before we as an organization start trying to help you complete and do that event?
Mm-hmm. Got it.
So
now, is it just you, or do you have some employees that you work with?
Yeah, we have employees. We have a lot of volunteers. We have, but we have employees, and we grow every day.
Fantastic. Yeah, because I'm looking at the list of your federal, state, and local partners and media partners. I mean, it's pretty incredible the amount of people you have involved, but it's also incredible the amount of work that you've put into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, one thing about me is I'm a person that cannot sit idle. If I sit idle, the demons come out. So what I got to do, I got to stay busy.
Gotcha.
And that's it's a blessing and a curse. You know what I mean?
Yep. Get it.
So
I noticed recently some social media posts with your truck. You have a Rally Forward logo on there. You have a Rally Forward logo on it?
Yes, sir. I do.
What's their involvement?
So, Lance Smith has become a personal friend and a mentor. There's announcements coming on things, but I'm not privy to say yet.
That's fine. No worries.
Yeah, but, I found a home with the American Rally Association, and what Lance Smith is doing, trying to put rally at the forefront. And, with our organization, what we're able to do is help, like, LSPR. We help Southern Ohio. How do
Mm-hmm.
you do an economic study? How do you do this? Because rally is just like everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a professional rally guy. I'm a promoter. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yep.
I don't want to be the clerk of course. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I want to be able to fill in the gaps. But what we're able to do with people like Lance and other organizations and other bodies that has their rally car races, how to community support. How do you do this? What do you got to do to get community support? How do you do an economic report where you can
Mm-hmm.
show what rally does for your community when they're in town?
Right.
Um, and if you got them tools, you can then go to your chamber of commerce or your local county tourism or even a state and say, this is our numbers. This is what we do. This, if you're willing to invest this, or return of investment back to you is this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you start getting in relationships with government bodies.
Got it.
But, back to your Rally Forward
Yeah.
thing, I knew who Lance Smith was. I followed Rally since I was a young man.
Okay.
And of course, Travis Pastrano and Brandon and all these guys. I mean, they're rock stars.
Oh yeah. Right.
I got a phone call out of the blue by Lance Smith that said, I want to see Kentucky. And I said, pack you a lunch. And me and Lance Smith spent 3 days in a pickup truck about 4 years ago.
Wonderful.
And I showed him rally car roads. I showed him off-road roads. I showed him tarmac roads. And, from that, we built a relationship and a friendship where, it's a good thing for both of us, and also good for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and most importantly for the rally communities.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So let's step way back. And how
Okay.
did you get into motorsports, or even,
Well, man, you say you live in North Carolina. The Appalachian people, we're always raise hell, praise Dale kind of people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just natural to us, and
Yeah.
that's what makes our area so unique. Is that you don't have controversy. We don't want you here. We're begging for it to come here.
Yeah.
People wants to sit on their driveway or on their porch and watch a rally car or a hill climb or a drift event go by.
Yeah.
Gravel or that. They don't care about the dust that coming on their house. They're having a barbecue and having their family there, and all of a sudden they become marshals.
That's awesome.
And that's what it's all about, and that's what makes it unique.
Mm-hmm.
Is that.
Very nice. Now, have you always been a car guy, or more like a motorcycle guy, or?
Oh man, I was a motorcycle guy because they're cheaper,
Gotcha.
and
Yeah.
I could go a lot faster on a motorcycle than I ever could in a Camaro rally RS Camaro 305 in it back in the day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
but I grew up, didn't even know it, and it's actually bred into our culture over the Prohibition era.
Oh,
I
right.
get so sick and tired of seeing NASCAR. They're the original bootleggers and all. No, they turn left. What
Oh,
the
yeah.
people running from the Prohibition police were rally car drivers, and they didn't even know it on an old gravel or dirt road.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I grew up. And kids still today, they go on them gravel roads and they practice their driving and braking and points and acceleration and things of that nature, which makes them, I guess rebellish, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But at the same
Right.
time, it breeds you towards motorsports.
Yeah.
And like the coolest thing right now going with us is Summit Racing has started making coloring books for me for kids that we can give children coloring books of race cars.
That's
Well,
great.
we're breeding early age
Yeah.
motorsports into their minds. And I
Right.
think that's awesome.
Oh, it is awesome. Yeah. It's important. Because I've worked with clients that, are into antique automobiles, and it's kind of sad to see, or not seeing, the youth really participate and getting into it.
Yep.
and car collecting. And it's kind of sad to see because you want to see it continue and continue to grow. And it's the same with motorsports. We'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts. They build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show.
Agreed. And not just in motorsports, but sports in general, right?
Yeah, being outdoors. I mean,
when I was a kid, I had heroes, right?
Yeah.
You ask my kid who their people they look up to now, or any other kid. You go to high school or you go to elementary school. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a social media influencer.
Yeah.
No, we need to start bringing back them heroes of the world that actually do something besides some stupid video that gets likes for a monetized amount of money.
Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, are there any future things coming up with Backroads that you can talk about?
I can.
Okay.
We'll be announced before probably you put this out.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the Appalachian Regional Commission, the state of Kentucky, the state of West Virginia, and the state of Ohio. We are working on we will be receiving over a $10 million federal fund that is called the Appalachian Overland Triangle that highlights all public access roads inside the 3 states. What that's doing is for off-roading, adventure bikes, overlanding, Jeep people. It's awesome. It's showing you can come here and enjoy, and you're not trespassing, and this is legal for you to be here. What also it's doing for us, though, is that we are gaining access to vast amounts of property for rally car racing.
Awesome.
Or Ultra 4, or King of Hammer stuff, or any kind of thing on the off-road segment. We are putting our headquarters of this in Owsley County, Kentucky, where we have over 200 acres of land there, and the potential for not really a dirt fish or a Team O'Neill, but more of an instructional how to become a marshal, how to do time control. Have some cars there, but what blows my mind in the world of volunteers inside of motorsports is that there's no training program. It's just figured out. Well, the cost of insurance in motorsports went up 33% this year.
Wow, yeah.
How can we lower it? What if we create a program, if we have a property where we can then create a certification through the workforce development of the United States where you become certified? Well, that's going to lower the cost of insurance because you're going to have trained people doing these events across the nation.
That's fantastic, yeah. The
last thing on that aspect is when we started the Boone Forest Rally, or actually even go back to Plenty of Tarmac, the volunteers that come, you ask them, when's the last time you were on a rally car? They've never done it.
Yeah.
So these people, volunteers, God bless them, they drive 12, 14 hours, spend their own money on lodging and food to stand out there and get ticks and watch cars go by.
Yeah.
What if we have a platform where, we can have rally cars come in where they could test their suspension, whatever, do training at the same time, and give people rides in a rally car, volunteers, let them experience it.
Right.
And that's kind of where we're working towards with that funding and that property we have in Owsley County, Kentucky.
Yeah. Doing a ride along would be greatly educational for someone volunteering. Yeah, because I'm looking
not just volunteers, but emergency management, fire, radio communication.
Yeah.
That way they actually understand what's going on inside of a rally car or Ultra 4. Ultra 4 and rally to me is really a lot the same. It's just the Ultra 4 goes up the mountain and the rally car goes around it. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
You see, I had driver and co-driver, you
Yeah. I
know?
see a lot of comparisons between the two. So,
Hmm.
yeah. We have
But
Ultra.
that's one thing we're working on. There'll be an announcement made. I can go ahead and tell it. I ain't gonna tell it why because I'm waiting. But
Yeah. Okay.
we're moving the Boone Forest Rally from the first weekend of August to the second weekend of August. I did the official request to the American Rally
Hmm.
Association Monday or Tuesday. Um, it's
Great.
for a big reason, but I'm not privy to say until that announcement's made.
That's
But
okay.
our rally and all of our volunteers, I'm sorry, but it's good for rally. It's good for Kentucky. It's good for everybody. So I'm going to do it. And our ultimate goal with our rally car racing, with the ARA as a super regional and knock on wood, hopefully next year national, is to
Okay.
keep it price effective. We want to be the lowest price cost rally they are in the nation, and nothing against everybody else, but we're
Right.
able. I have more people enter a rally car race, and that means more a co-driver and a team.
Hmm.
That means that co-driver and team staying in a local Airbnb
Correct.
inside of our region, and that's why we do it, and that's why we want to keep it like we pay for the rally safe. We eat that,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, and that's the reason why though is I want more people to get in the rally. I want more people to come to Kentucky, and I want more people to enjoy themselves and spend their hard-earned money.
Yep.
And that's
Fantastic.
a return of investment to the Commonwealth of Kentucky that funds us to do this.
Right. That's fantastic.
So,
Yeah. Well, your episode will come out a week from Tuesday, so
okay, okay.
uh, no worries. But I'll let you preview it, and if it's a little too
Ah,
soon, you can
buddy,
just say,
I don't reckon I do nothing too bad. I've got good at this, good at these talks and interviews and all that. I had to, you know.
"Oh yeah, I'm sure." Yeah.
Yep.
I
So
really,
what attracted you to rally? Why no one ever asked the podcaster or the
yeah.
the questions back. Why rally for you? What got you engaged in rally?
Well, I think for me, back in the '80s when I was learning how to drive,
Mm-hmm.
and much like you talked about, being out, learning how to drive, getting behind, um, driving your first car. And I was out in Tideland, North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm driving my parents' 1987 Caprice Classic station wagon,
Nice. Nice.
and
LT 350.
yeah, and I think I won't get in trouble for this, but we used to kind of drag race, um, through the cornfield, like the roads through the cornfields,
Mm-hmm.
with some of my buddies, and I did pretty well. That thing really had some power behind it.
It didn't break traction at either over a beautiful, beautiful backside that thing had on it.
Oh
So,
yeah, and yeah, I was I had to wash it a few times before I brought it home, but
uh
but yeah, fortunately nothing happened. But it was just taking a car on a dirt road, or even before that, we used to have a Impala station wagon, late '70s Impala station wagon. And after we baled the fields, there'd be a few stragglers. And, when I'm 12 or 13, I got behind the wheel and drove it through the field, picking up, a few odd and end square bales. So that kind of fueled it. And then seeing, Group B rally growing up and everything, it kind of was like, oh, this is fun. And so I wanted to learn more about rally recently, because back in
hmm
2022 we went up to STPR. We met Ken Block, Travis Pastrana,
yeah.
and I helped my friend. We worked with the ARA and helped them test fuel.
hmm
So that was it. I was like, I got to do something. And because of my background with museums, we record a lot of oral histories and things like that. And I thought, oh, how can do I do a traveling exhibit about stage rally? and I thought, well, maybe a podcast is the best way to go. So last fall, I started the podcast just so I could learn more, because I'm sure a lot of people listening are just wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And so that's
think
kind of how
I
it went.
think in all forms of motorsports, and we had Connor Martell in the electric car down for the SCCA Pine Mountain Hill Climb this weekend.
Right, yeah.
High horsepower car, 1,000 horsepower all-wheel drive, awesome car.
Yeah.
But I think, and not knocking none of the other drivers that does the hill climb racing, to watch a rally, and Martin Donnelly's another prime example. He was down here, and I don't know if you know who Martin is or not, but Martin's like the Irish legend to me. But to watch them take the lines on that mountain hill climb race different than everybody else because they're rally car drivers, which shaves time off, is what impresses me about rally.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
They're a different caliber of driver is a rally car driver. Not just the professional aspect, but the privateers, the grassroots guys, they're just different. They're wired different. And I think that stage rally is the purest form of motorsports because of that.
Yeah.
And
I would agree.
I think it really needs to be exposed in a higher caliber. And what we run into all the time is stage rally or all these off-road events and stuff is, how do you monetize it? How do you get the media coverage? How do you live stream it? And that's the stuff I want to figure out and try to help with, because I think that stage rally in the United States can be just as big as the European rallies.
Yeah.
You just got to tell the story.
Yeah. And that's the key. The history of it, too, is pretty fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, it's kind of a passion, too. It's not...
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, there's no money in it, unless you are Vermont sports cars. It costs you money, and that to me also brings back my grassroots and, the privateers and the grassroots stuff. They're the ones that support. They're the ones that buys that Subaru car. They're the ones that does whatever because of that team. And that's how I was with Chevy and Ford back in the day in NASCAR. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I am.
So, but I think it's really cool that your podcast and what you're trying to do and what you are doing.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that.
And I would love to offer you an opportunity if you're interested. The Boone Forest Rally, why don't you come down and interview every driver and put them on your podcast?
I would love to do that.
Yeah. So I give you space, and I put you in a high school with and have them come in and talk to you.
That would be fantastic. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah. So there's the Boone to me. What makes the Boone Forest Rally and the other rally people might get mad at me. Why do I think the Boone's better? And I really believe it. The first Boone Forest Rally was not my fault. I was led because of what happened that year and the two unfortunate deaths in rally. We slowed it down.
Yeah.
Well, when you slow it down to make it more European, you have a lot more breaks and a lot more breakdowns.
Okay.
The proof of concept was done. We did a stage rally and stuff. A goat shouldn't go up and down, but them guys did it. Gals did it.
Yeah.
But it slowed rally down that way for speed factor.
Yeah.
Last year we was able to re-identify the Boone Forest Rally, and I think that we got so much good feedback from it. And and for everybody listening that done the Boone last year, we're not changing a thing. It's the same exact thing.
There you go.
Because it's that good.
Yeah.
But
awesome.
what I love most about Eastern Kentucky is that we're able to make stage rally longer, because I can shut down a state highway for 1.25 miles, 0.8 of a mile, and where you don't have to end the stage, but you can make it flow through a state paved section back into that gravel section.
Okay.
And with that being said, you also have people that live on them roads.
Yeah.
Right by them. And they are rooting and cheering and, wanting it back and begging for it to come back by their house again.
Awesome.
And you don't get that everywhere. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I've heard some, complaints, but yeah, that sounds like a plan. I'm definitely interested in coming down, so that'd be great.
We're working as well on Tarmac Rally, bringing it back alive. We did do a Tarmac Rally in the past with a couple of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
This will be an ARA sanctioned Tarmac Rally, and it will be on state highways. Not
Oh,
it will
fantastic.
it will be single track state highways, but it will be a rally. It won't be really technically a rally sprint. Just be a rally because they have public transit. But it'd be a 1 day rally to start with. But what I
Mm-hmm.
want to do for Tarmac Rally is I don't want to compete in the season and ask people to change their tires, change their suspension, all that good stuff.
Yeah, okay.
We want to create a Tarmac Winter Rally series.
Oh,
And if it snows, if the ice is over, you can bring your studded tires. Kentucky don't care.
gotcha.
You know, and that's really the format we want to do is how can we bring a rally year round? And I mean, there's some talks with Rally Forward in the future, have
Mm-hmm.
a couple more single day rallies and stuff just to kind of because we got so much property here
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Eastern Kentucky that we can do multiple rallies, but I don't want them all to be a super regional or a national. But what
Got
I
it.
do want to do is like Port Revere Rally that relocated to Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah. Very cool.
Jose and all them guys, Roberto, they actually moved from Florida to Eastern Kentucky. They got a garage and they're working and building rally cars there now.
Oh, yeah,
That's
okay.
what I want.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, and same thing for Green APU, Patrick Grushka and Art and them.
Mm-hmm.
They from rally car racing are now investing in building putting a company in Eastern Kentucky, which is going to create Eastern Kentucky people jobs.
Yeah, and next week I have Christian LaPrade on, who's a
Mm-hmm.
mechanic for a couple of those teams in Eastern
Yep.
Kentucky. So, yeah.
Yep. So see how cool it is. And
Yeah, it is.
this past weekend, McCreary County Gravel Rally. Matt Earl and all the NASA guys and Perry Seaman. They did an amazing job in McCreary County, and McCreary County is something that I helped connect the dots and get them started.
Mm-hmm.
But again, people, there's some talks and conversations because they put a billboard up at our rally.
Yeah.
It's not competition to me. That's not competition. Competition, that's people coming in and they're going to McCreary County for the NASA rally and they're spending their money in McCreary County.
Yep.
That's a win for Kentucky, and that's my mentality.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
But we need more rally, period. So if it's NASA, if it's ARA, or whoever else it could be, let's do
Yep.
it. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
So, yep.
Yeah.
But that's really it, man. You got any more questions for me?
I don't. I think that's pretty good. I know you do this a lot, and you busy schedule, and I really appreciate again you coming on and taking the time this evening and chatting. I'm really excited about Boone and what's coming up for Kentucky.
Yeah. And the last thing, and I'll finish this up with
Yeah.
thanks to the rally community, thanks to all communities of motorsports. The most impactful thing happened last year in our 2024
Mm-hmm.
third-party economic impact study.
Yeah.
Take a guess of Take a guess of what motorsports brought to our poverty-stricken areas of our region. How much you think it brought in?
$1 million.
$92.4 million.
Wow. That's massive. That's
We had
fantastic.
we had over 77,000 visitors in Kentucky and West Virginia. 50 million went to Kentucky, 42.7 I think went to West Virginia, but 77,000 people stayed in one of the states for more than a couple of nights.
That's fantastic.
And thanks to motorsports and power sports and motorcycle guys and all that, Eastern Kentucky is not a 1 day drive through now. We're a 3 night destination, and it's thanks to the motorsport people.
That's beautiful.
They're staying 2 or 3 days, and that's how we're able to change laws and make things happen for a region. Is because of the motorsports. We're making it motorsport friendly because it's bringing a return of investment.
That's incredible. Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks again. And
yeah, man.
We'll be in touch for sure.
I look forward to it, and anything I do for you, let me know. And
Oh, yeah,
Where
definitely.
can you watch your? Where can I listen to your podcast? Sporty, where else?
Well,
Or not Sporty, Spotify.
Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, and a lot of times when I post on Facebook or Instagram, I can do a direct link to the website for the
Awesome.
host, so works out great.
Well, do me a favor
Yeah,
when you do post it on social media, tag us in it, and we'll share it. We reach about 19 million people a month on our social media platform.
will do. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. And I appreciate your time tonight.
All right, appreciate yours.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.